Okay. So I have a short on Instagram right now that's going viral. Um, hmm, Plug in my microphone here. It's not. Let's see. All right. So I have a short reel on Instagram right now that's going viral. It's about NPCs. I don't. I'm gonna link it in the description. Anyway, um, so the subject is about NPCs, and that's what this subject is going to be about. The nature of reality, the nature of the matrix. This is a very controversial subject, but it's one that needs to be addressed and understood. Um, there should be more awareness spread about this subject, as well as many others. But today I want to talk about these NPCs, aka muggles, aka background people. Okay. I wanted to kind of make a clear distinction or a correction from something that I heard from somebody in the metaphysical community. Um, so despite what they're saying in the metaphysical circles, there is no shortage of humans for souls to like reincarnate into. Okay. I've heard some speakers say that there's a superfluous amount of souls just waiting on the other side for a body to be available so they can incarnate to it. This is just simply not true. There's billions of humans to choose from when planning an incarnation. Many people think that simply bringing awareness to the subject is dehumanizing and self-centered and is a self-centered train of thought. So yeah, I've been accused of of a few things. Um, but I can understand their point of view. I don't totally disagree with it. But it all depends on the level of awareness of the one presenting the information. Hey, Yepperville, how you doing, buddy? Um, is the volume okay? Can you guys hear me? Mm, Anyway, um, okay, Yepperville can. All right, buddy, this is for you since I don't have a lot of people on here. Here we go. Um, so it all depends on the level of awareness of the person presenting the information. If you have a deep understanding of source and an understanding of yourself in relation to source, then you'll understand and relate to everyone else, not just NPCs, on a deeper level. The closer you are to source, the more you see reality, and everything and everyone is just a reflection of yourself, and not just a reflection of yourself, but actually is yourself. We live in a mirror matrix. The lunar matrix, as well as the original one, are mirror matrices, which basically means they operate off the law of attraction. Okay. And everything that you perceive in reality is all through frequency match. That's the law of attraction, or it's also called the law of mirrors. Okay. Um, Now back to the NPC subject. My goal and aim in bringing this information about the NPCs is multifold. My first intent is always to bring the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Okay. The truth gives a person spiritual freedom. And it's that spiritual freedom that should be the main goal of everyone. Another big reason why I share this information is because I don't want people wasting their time and attention and energy on, small talk. The the scripts that NPCs operate on range from being either, very simple to very complex. And the more attention that you give them, the more their script runs, and it kind of just it can waste your time. And so that's another big reason why I'm bringing this information forward. um, Souls, on the other hand, are very complex beings, and they're very misunderstood. Souls question everything. NPCs don't question anything or don't question much, you know? Um, a lot of people, when they first hear about NPCs, question to themselves of whether they are one or not. That's a very popular question that I've been getting. Am I an NPC? Once people hear about the subject, they're wondering if they are. And the what I want to say about that is only a person with a soul would ask themselves whether they had one or not. So if you're wondering whether you're an NPC or not, that's only a question that a soul would answer. So that the answer to your question right there. No, you're not an NPC. Okay. A soul is driven by curiosity. It cannot help but question. It questions everything. Okay. A soul questions authority. It questions society, religion, um, and especially it questions itself. It questions its own beliefs. It questions why it's here, where it came from, who is it. It wants to know what exists beyond the veil. Okay, it seeks understanding, it seeks source naturally. A soul's not comfortable with easy answers. It would rather live in uncertainty than accept a lie simply because it's popular. This is why so many awakened people have gone through periods of isolation in their lives. The moment you begin to ask deeper questions, you naturally separate yourself from the collective narrative. An NPC, on the other hand, operates almost entirely from programming. Doesn't mean that they're bad. It doesn't mean that they're evil. They're just different. They're at a different stage of awareness. It doesn't mean that they should be mistreated in any way. All humans should be treated with love and respect. Okay. What it means is that the reality is largely constructed from external input rather than internal reflection. Okay. They're told what to think and how to think it. They're told what to fear and how to fear it. Okay. NPCs are you're told who the enemy is and they accept it. They are told what success looks like and they spend their lives chasing it. Not because they have, you know, deeply examined any of these things, but because questioning them never occurs. I'm just going to check out the chat here. Okay. So, this is why if you attempt to discuss certain subjects with them, you'll often feel as though you're speaking to a script. Okay. The response is predictable, the reaction is predictable, the emotional triggers, um, you know, it's as if the conversation has already happened a thousand times before. You know, a soul learns, it grows, a script repeats. Okay. A soul evolves, but a script loops. And you might be telling yourself or something right now, like, I loop all the time. I run on a script sometimes. Yeah, it's true because we have programming, but part of the awakening process is undoing that programming, is to recognize that it's trapping your energy and your attention in a specific um, conscious and subconscious way. Okay. So yeah, we do run on scripts. Souls do run on scripts as well. It's a very complicated process about the soul and when the soul comes into the body and all that stuff. There's a variety of different ways to experience being human. Okay. But definitely something that a soul does is it seeks the truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable. A script seeks comfort, even when comfort is built on an illusion. The difference becomes even more obvious during major world events. When narratives shift overnight, souls immediately begin investigating. They compare information, they look for inconsistencies, they ask why, they analyze, they observe. The NPC simply downloads the latest update and continues forward. So, again, this is not about superiority. One of the biggest mistakes people make when discussing this topic is allowing the ego to get involved. The purpose of understanding NPCs is not to feel better than anyone else. Okay. The purpose is discernment. If you understand that not everyone is operating from the same level of awareness, then you stop expecting soul level conversations from people who are incapable of having them. And that's really one of my main driving forces. You just stop wasting your years trying to wake up those people who have no interest or are unable to wake up. Okay. um so stop arguing with programs, stop wasting your time arguing with programs. I know some of them are your friends and your family. Just enjoy the time being with those people. Okay. um so stop trying to convince or change the script for any particular individual. Introducing truth on a neutral ground does the job of itself. The truth illuminates, it brings a spiritual freedom. So instead of directing your attention to people that you're just running in loops with, imagine if you direct your energy towards those who are already asking questions or already seeking the truth for themselves. Because in the end, a soul cannot be awakened by another person. The desire to awaken must come from within. One thing that people need to understand about this subject is that it's not about superiority. It's not about looking down on anyone. People of higher consciousness, people of higher awareness don't look down on you because you're of lesser. It's not about that at all. It's not about ego. If you're using the information to elevate yourself above another person, then you've completely missed the point. The point is awareness. The point is discernment. And the main point is your spiritual freedom that the truth brings. And the spiritual freedom comes from understanding the nature of reality that you're living in and understanding the nature of the people that you're interacting with. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is assuming that everyone around them thinks like they do. They don't. A soul is constantly expanding, seeking more awareness, trying to understand more about reality. A soul wants to know how things work. A soul wants to know what exists beyond the physical plane. Okay. Um, a soul is just constantly asking questions, it questions itself, everything in reality. And that's one of the main differences between you and other people. Okay. Um, Many souls spend years questioning their own beliefs and dismantling their own programming. And that's a very important point. Souls are willing to dismantle their own programming by using discernment and understanding. Okay. NPCs defend their programming. Okay. This is why it can be extremely difficult to have certain conversations. The moment information is presented that falls outside their accepted reality, a defense mechanism activates. A defense mechanism kicks in. I just wanted to say hi to everybody in the chat and everybody listening and watching right now. I hope you guys are getting something out of this. I'm just going to check the chat. Cool. See some hearts coming up. I appreciate you all for being here, all 31 of you. And yeah, I'm just going to keep talking about this. NPCs defend their programming. That's why it's really hard to have conversations with them. They just operate up here. You try to bring up anything, any real truth that's happening in the world, and they automatically suppress it. Okay. So, yeah. So this defense mechanism that they have just kicks in. It's just like a blank program almost. And so it doesn't kick in because they've researched the subject. It doesn't kick in because they have investigated the information. It's because the information threatens the script. That's why it gets shut down. The script must be protected. It must remain intact. Um, and this was shown in the Matrix movies. Um, Morpheus was talking about people aren't ready to be unplugged, and um, they'll defend the script. Um, but the soul is very different. The soul is willing to be wrong. It's willing to make mistakes, and it's willing to change. And the soul is wanting to and seeking to expand. It's willing to grow. Um, and it continues to grow because of this, because that's where its attention is placed. And this is why awareness is so important, because awareness creates choice. Okay. Choice creates freedom, and freedom creates expansion. Expansion creates more consciousness. So most people think that freedom is political or that it's financial. But true freedom is spiritual. Okay. A person can have all the money in the world and still be trapped. They can have all the political rights in the world and still be trapped. Because the greatest prison is unconsciousness. And that's why harp on, even if you're not getting lucid in your dream states, but if any of your dream activity is like um, increasing or progressing in some way, or if you're just simply practicing, if you're not even being successful at lucid dreaming or astral projection or out of body experiences or any altered state of consciousness, um, I think it's so important um, to have these different levels of awareness that you can tap into, or that you can, frequency match with, in order to have these expansive experiences. Because right now on planet Earth, we're being suppressed in every single way possible, through the air and the chemtrails, and through the food, and through, whatever medicines. Uh, we are being suppressed by the 5G, 6G, 7G technology, all of the microwave weapons, the directed energy weapons that they have. I mean, you guys should really be patting yourselves on the back that we're not all dead yet. I mean, the stuff that they're doing down here is crazy, you know. Um, and I laugh about it because we have the consciousness within ourself. We have that power, and we have that power of our consciousness to transcend and negate all of the stuff that I just mentioned. Okay. All of the interference. We have the ability to overcome that and to transcend that and to frequency match with new realities. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? I was just checking out the chat. So, to think about it, and that's the whole point of being here. One of the main reasons you're here is to see how hard you are to kill. I mean, think about that for a second. We have all of these poisons being sprayed on us, and we're overcoming it with our high frequency. And collectively, I do see I do see people coming together on an unconscious level. Um, you know, but I mean, you guys really should pat yourselves on the back and pat each other on the back because guess what? We're still here. We're still here. We're still speaking our truth. We're still getting together and sharing ideas with each other. I mean, that's the most powerful thing when I see that happening is like we're using this technology, at least some of it we're using for good, and that brings in another important part is that, extraterrestrials have technology, they have AIs. There's a million billion different AIs out there, you know. Um, the synthetic intelligence, the ones you've been hearing me talk about, that's the real great threat to the planet, and it can only become, it can only come from our high frequency as a collective group, okay, and through our shared ideas and our agreements with each other about what those ideas are, about what we want Earth to look like. You know, people say, "Oh, the new Earth is coming. The new Earth is coming. The new Earth is coming." You know what? You're the new Earth. So until you arrive, and the thing is we have already arrived. We just haven't perceptually locked onto it yet. We haven't subconsciously, through our belief system, latched on to that truth yet. And that's what we need to focus on collectively is is the truth. Is the truth and becoming conscious, because the greatest prison is unconsciousness. It's, the greatest prison is living your entire life running a script that was handed to you by someone else, never questioning who you are, never questioning why you are here, never questioning what reality is, never questioning where your thoughts come from or where your beliefs come from. And that's why I talk about these subjects, not to divide people. I don't want to divide anybody. I don't want to create fear or spread fear. There's a difference between, uh, you know, um, Well, if you aren't fearless by now, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You are undergoing the biggest attack, the biggest spiritual attack in human history and in all of history right now, just being on this planet. Um, so if you're not fearless, you should be. You should be because there are people who are afraid of you. Okay. Um, So I don't talk about these subjects to divide people or create fear or superiority, but because awareness leads to spiritual freedom. And spiritual freedom should be the goal of every soul. Another thing that people need to understand is that NPCs are not always easy to identify, and that is by design. A lot of people have this idea that an NPC is somebody who is unintelligent or incapable of functioning in society. That's not what I'm saying at all. A lot of NPCs are extremely intelligent. Some of the best scripts are scientists, doctors, politicians, professors. Um, they're very successful people. Because intelligence and consciousness are not the same thing. Okay. Intelligence and consciousness are different. Okay. So, intelligence and consciousness are not the same thing. A computer can process information at a very high level, but that doesn't mean it possesses self awareness. Okay. Likewise, a person can possess a tremendous amount of information and still never question the reality that they're living in. This is why discernment is so important. A soul is not defined by intelligence. A soul is defined by awareness. It's defined by its ability to expand beyond its current level of understanding. Okay. A soul is defined by its connection to source. The closer a person moves towards source, the more they begin to see themselves reflected in everything around them. This is where many people become confused with the NPC subject. They think that if everything is source, then everyone must be exactly the same way. But reality is more complicated than that. Everything originates from source, everything exists within source. Yet not everything possesses the same degree of awareness. Okay, I was just reading some comments. Um, Hi Lana. No, Nick Fire. Hey Nick Fire, did you ever get the fire ray? So, NPCs are spiritually inert by definition. I have noticed that there is a, I don't normally quote the Bible, but there is a saying that says, um, I can't remember it. Probably a good thing. And NPCs are spiritually inert. Oh, they have a form of godliness, but deny its power. Basically, is the scripture, and that's what I think that the NPCs have is a form of godly. They have their religion, they have their system that they believe in. Um, Corey Finkel, when will we know the truth? This slow drip of info is hard to handle. I know most people's nervous systems couldn't handle what the truth is of this place. Once you see, you can never unsee. Yeah. When will we know the truth? I mean, where the truth isn't knowledge. Okay. The truth isn't knowledge. The truth is you're capable of freeing your mind. That's the dangerous truth. Okay. You have all the abilities to free your own mind. And once you do that, you cannot ever be caged again. You can't be locked in some reincarnation cycle or samsara cycle or, or karma cycle or anything like that, you know. Um, so yeah, that's the real truth. Okay. Um, so everything exists within source, yet not everything possesses the same degree of awareness. Okay. Um, Not everything possesses the same degree of consciousness. It doesn't possess the same degree of self-reflection. And this is something that souls are really kind of obsessed with, self-reflection. Um, oh, thank you, Holly. Thank you, Holly Bridges. Um, so this reality operates through frequency matching. Okay. In the title, you heard me talk about the mirror matrix. Everything that enters your experience is there because there's some form of energetic compatibility and energetic continuity. Okay. This is why the matrix is a mirror. Okay. The original matrix is a mirror, and the lunar matrix is also a mirror. Reality constantly reflects back your beliefs, attachments, fears, expectations, which is your frequency, your thoughts. Okay. It's reading. The matrix is reading you constantly and feeding you back what it reads. Okay. This brings, you know, this brings up an important point because if the synthetic intelligence has already compromised the matrix, and that's really what we're living in is a simulation. Um, so that brings that opens up a lot. That's why I'm saying, you can only ever be free in your own mind. And once you are, that experience of freedom, um, that's the ultimate goal. I mean, that's pure bliss. That's pure happiness. All right. Um, so reality constant reflects back your beliefs and your attachments and your thoughts and your emotions. Most people think they are observing reality. In truth, reality is observing them right back. Okay. This is where the NPC subject becomes important. Many people spend enormous amount of energy trying to wake up individuals who have no interest in waking up. I already talked about some of this stuff, but they spend years arguing, debating, explaining, trying to force awareness onto somebody. But awareness cannot be forced. Okay. That's why meditation is so important. Okay. You can't force an expanded consciousness. It doesn't work like that. Okay. You can't force your soul growth. Well, by some say that by coming to earth, you are kind of forcing your soul growth. um, but the soul grows because it wants to grow. It seeks because it wants to seek. The soul questions because it cannot stop questioning. That's its nature. That's why your attention is so valuable. Your attention is currency. Okay. Your attention is your energy. It's your life force. Where you place your attention determines what you create more of in your reality. So, most awakened people are not suffering from a lack of knowledge. They're suffering from a lack of proper energy management. Okay. So they're giving away their attention, their energy, away to people and systems and situations that have no intention of changing. Okay. They have no intent on changing. And then they wonder why they feel drained. Your attention should be invested where growth is possible. Okay. It should be invested where spiritual freedom is possible. Okay. Um, and that's in your own mind. And that's why I'm so keen on people learning how to astral project and lucid dream, and all that stuff. Because at the end of the day, that's what this journey is really about. It's about your experiences, whether they're physical or non-physical or a mix of both. You're here to have an experience. That's why staying stuck in a dead end job, or being stuck in a 9 to 5 job and not stepping into your calling, being a healer or whatever. That's why that can be so draining. It's because you're mismanaging your energy in that sense. Um, what would change for you when you remember this life in your next incarnation? Um, well, in my next incarnation on Earth, I probably won't even remember this life. I'll only have bits and pieces. But of course, incarnating, my next life is incarnating back into a higher density. So of course I'm going to have all my memories there. And what that's like is it's like not a big deal, you know. Um this life compared to, seen from my 5D avatar is not serious. It's just it's not a big deal. It's one of many, 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 many experiences and lifetimes. I guess you could say. So it's kind of sad, but on the other hand, I mean, with knowledge comes much sorrow. So you know, there's that. Um, so it's not about proving somebody right, proving yourself right. It's not about proving somebody wrong. It's about expanding your awareness and moving closer and closer to source that you already are. Okay. You already are source. So you're just moving closer and closer to yourself. So whatever your, idea or viewpoint or belief system on source is, um, there's a lot of different interpretations. You know, like I mentioned before, a lot of people think that this subject is dehumanizing and a self-centered train of thought. And I can understand, them from their point of view. I don't totally disagree with them. I'm holding multiple points of view on the subject. The problem is that many people approach this subject from the ego. They hear the term NPC and immediately start separating themselves from everyone around them. Okay. They start seeing themselves as special, they start seeing themselves as superior. And that is not where this information should lead. If anything, it should lead to a greater compassion and a greater understanding. Okay. Remember, it's the truth and that spiritual freedom that we're going for. Okay. The closer you move towards source, the more you understand that everything is connected, and not just connected, but is you, is a mirror, is a reflection of yourself. Okay. You begin to understand that every person you encounter is playing a role within a much larger reality, all of them being you, all of them being aspects of yourself or you in different timeline. This is why we all, this is why, you know, you should love everyone equally because we are everyone, all the NPCs and everybody. Everything that's happening in your experience is because you are your experience. Okay. You're not just experiencing cars and roads and trees and the sun and whatever. You are those things. Those things are source and so are you. They're just different aspects of yourself. They're you in a different timeline. Okay. Um I think I already mentioned this. The speakers that I was talking about in the metaphysical circles, they're saying that there's a vast number of souls on the other side waiting for bodies to become available. You know, um, the implication is that every human body automatically contains an incarnated soul because there's supposedly a surplus of souls waiting for the opportunity. I don't know if you know who was saying this, but I heard it on like a podcast or something. And I don't see it that way at all. There are billions of people on this earth. There's no shortage of the human experience. In my way, saying there's no shortage of meat suits of bodies for souls to incarnate to in order to have a human experience. There's no cosmic waiting list where souls are desperately competing for incarnation slots because there's a whole bunch of different timelines. You can just incarnate into a different timeline. Okay. You don't want two souls taking up one body. That wouldn't be a good thing. Um, but souls, incarnate according to frequency. So not every soul can incarnate into any body. It has to be a frequency match. Okay. They incarnate according to the lessons they need, according to the experiences that they wish to have. Reality is far more complex than simply matching one soul to one body. The reason this matters is because many people reject the NPC subject before they even investigate it. They reject it because they assume that it's automatically dehumanizing. Okay? They just reject the idea. That's dehumanizing what we're doing, what we're talking about this. But you know what? When you talk about the truth, you're gonna get that. Okay? There's just people that don't understand it. Okay? But acknowledging differences and awareness is not dehumanizing. We already recognize the differences in intelligence, in talent, physical ability. Why is it so difficult for people to acknowledge that there may also be differences in consciousness and self awareness? Wow, 57 people. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Sorry I've been MIA. I've been doing a lot of work on myself, healing sessions, and I hit a bit of a hard time as well. Um, but My cat is doing well. He's recovering from a vet visit where he got in a cat fight. I don't know what he's doing thinking. He's 20 years old. I don't know what he's doing picking on these younger cats. Um, so why is it so difficult for people to acknowledge that there may also be differences in consciousness and self-awareness? Okay. To me, this subject is not about labeling people. It's about understanding reality. And it's about understanding where your energy goes. It's about understanding why some people spend their entire lives seeking deeper truth while others seem completely uninterested in doing so. And most importantly, it's about understanding yourself. Because the moment a person sincerely asks, who am I? Why am I here? What is this reality? They have already stepped beyond the script. Okay. That's why those questions are so important. Okay. They've already begun the journey towards greater awareness. And that awareness is the first step towards spiritual freedom. Oh, thanks, Lana. Love you too. Okay. What else? Do you guys want me to talk about anything else here? Just put it in the comments if you guys have any questions. Um, how is my healing center project going? Gosh, part of the hard times, I'm about to lose my property. Um, yeah, I can't afford to pay for my property. I'm about halfway through paying for it. And yeah, I've got about $50,000 invested in it. It looks like I'm going to lose all of that if I can't keep making the payments. So, yeah, if you're if you're interested in the healing center, that's the healing center is on, it's on the verge of collapse, and who knows when one door opens, maybe another one will open. One door closes, another one will open. I don't know, but if you guys feel like supporting me with my mission, um, my Venmo and PayPal and stuff is in the description. I'll leave it in the description as well. So that's how that's going. It's not going great, unfortunately, but the healings that I'm doing, I'm seeing a lot of people one on one from all over the world. And those have been going amazing. I do remote healing sessions. So anybody that needs remote healing, please get a hold of me. Um, yeah, that's interesting, Edward. Um, he says, I often think of the Matrix movie quote, we already made the choice to be here. We are just trying to figure out why we made that choice. That's great. So I don't know what else could I talk about. Um, you know, about the wars and stuff is like the things that are happening on the planet Earth have been happening for a very long time. Okay. There are a lot of people who want to see change, and it's growing in number. My concern is that we're still being manipulated and played 20 or more steps ahead in the chess game. I do think that they're going to go with the project Bluebeam fake alien invasion. It could be, it could just, yeah, it could be the malevolent kind, and it could be the malevolent kind, or it could be a benevolent um, coming of, angelic and religious figures in the skies. And one thing I was studying up on the 6G, the 6G is, you know, supposedly supposed to be really, really good for holograms. For holograms. I remember reading that specifically. I found that interesting. Oh, thank you, Nick Fire. Love and respect to you as well. Appreciate you. Hey, the Attack Titan. The Attack Titan, MI5D. How can you tell if you're a starseed? Well, chances are, if you just listen to everything I had to say, you're a starseed. Um, if you watch this video over again, when I talk about a soul, that's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the star seeds. The star seeds are the ones with the souls. Any updates on the Irma? Yeah. Um, they're monitoring the situation, but I don't believe at all that they're going to like step in any major way. There's so many politics um in the way of that right now. Um the Irma souls know that they're kind of dropped we're kind of dropped here, and all we have is each other. And that's one of the dynamics of the game. So we're gonna drop you all on planet Earth. You're gonna be thousands of miles away from everybody, from your kind. You'll be scattered all over the planet, and all you have is each other. And all the powers that be and run Earth and everything will have all the resources. They'll have all the money. But they won't have the consciousness. They won't have the soul. They won't have the consciousness. And so this is really how the game is set up. Yeah, the Saturn Moon Matrix. I mean, last time I was there in the astral, they were making black cubes. They were all they were just these massive I don't know if you would call it a data center on steroids, but these massive black cubes that that they use to trap your attention. Thank you, Leandra777. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Love and blessings to you as well. Oh, thanks. Yeah, really, I really think that the armor are not going to intervene. If there is some, maybe after Project Bluebeam, they might do something. Um, yeah, I think they're gonna wait for now. The exopolitics is so complex. It's really unbelievable. Um, yeah, people think that like telepathy up there is what everybody's thinking about, all the time. It's not that way at all. It's not that way at all. Um, that's not how telepathy works. In fact, you can block telepathy. You can block people from knowing things. Um, it's about mind control. You know, um, mind control is a very prevalent thing in the galaxy. Um, and maybe the reptilians learned it from the synthetic intelligence. You know, we don't know how all of this started off. I know there's no beginning and no end, but um how this portion of it. Jake, these black cubes have a lattice like pattern on it with light white yellowish glow. Yeah, they did. They did. I tried to dismantle one of them. I was with a team of people. At this point we had a team of astral warriors. I was with a team and I think we dismantled one of them, but they had just a conveyor belt of these things. And I don't know what they're for, but I think they're there to trap attention. There's something with the synthetic intelligence and the black goo. Is every species an ET race? Yes. Yes, every species is an ET race. Oh, Edward, you saw them a week ago, huh? May 29th. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? We have 62 people here. That's more than we had when I stopped talking. Um, yeah, the lunar matrix, the moon, everything surrounding the moon is just crazy. Why is it that a star seed has more remembrance than the others in this planet? What is the reason others are so stuck? Okay, Maria Larson. Why is it that a starseed has more remembrance than others on this planet? Well, I was saying before that there are a couple of different ways that you can incarnate onto Earth. You can come from source or you can come from space, what people call 5D. It's just a higher density space. Okay. Um, so souls that come from source might not you know, remember any of their past lives. If you come from space, you're coming through an immersion, the immersion program. So you're coming through an immersion pod. You have, you know, levels, you have dials on your pod. So you can control how much frequency interference and suppression that there is with your human avatar. And for me, I can control the dials from inside the pod while I'm here on Earth. So I can remember whatever whatever I want, really. Um, so the souls coming in from source are just kind of mm, they can still remember their past lives. There's no problem in that, but that's just a general question. I mean, answer. Um, does it often happen that some walk in more than once in a lifetime? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Do you know where the soul is in the body, Dakota? Well, The soul isn't actually in the body. The body is just an idea that the soul has. In fact, everything is just an idea that the soul has. So the body is in the soul. The soul is not actually in the body. Although we have the experience of it being in the body, okay? Because your body is a filter. It blocks everything out except your five senses, okay? So your body does the same thing as the lunar matrix. It does the same thing as the 6G in the sense that it suppresses frequency, it suppresses awareness. That's why when you quote unquote leave the body, you have more awareness of your multidimensional nature. I'm planning on refusing the false light, revoking all contracts and agreements made while under amnesia. If I decide to get out, can I? Can they send you to a lower vibrational dimension? No, no, they can't. Um, once you're free in your own mind, then you're free in your own mind. When you're no longer externalizing your power, you don't have to worry about stuff like that. You don't have to worry about these soul traps and stuff. I do encourage people, if you have not and you want to know, I did release a video called Reincarnation That You Generate. Reincarnation That You Generate. Oh, thank you so much, Dakota. You're welcome. So, if you guys are interested in why a soul reincarnates even over and over again, I would definitely point you towards that video of reincarnation that you generate, because that explains, you know, how your attachments to your ideas and why they're so important, and where you land next. Okay. Um, really want to have a frequency match with who you're becoming. Okay. Um, mm, a bunch of remote viewers reporting Matrix like pods as base reality. My opinion, consciousness frequency plays a big role in what the RV is able to perceive, but it doesn't seem to be factored into it. Um, I think sometimes we put too much, into the remote viewers. Everyone's a remote viewer now, it's like, um, you're still perceiving the astral, and you're still perceiving the astral through your eyes. So, if a bunch of them are perceiving perceiving that, then I'd probably say they're probably remote viewing the pod program, the um the immersion pod program is probably what they're remote viewing, and they just don't know it. Yeah. What is the purpose of coming in a pod compared to source? So what is the purpose of coming in a pod compared to source? Um, yeah, one second, buddy. Yeah. Oh, here's Toby. Say hi, little man. See, they shaved the side of his face right there at the vet. So, what's the purpose of coming in a pod compared to source? Well, it's safer. It's safer because you don't get trapped in the you don't get trapped in the false light soul trap thing. Okay. Um, you know, it's a lot safer. You're controlled. It's more of a controlled environment. Although coming from source has its benefits because you interact with the matrix, with this 3D reality, as if it were real, as if it were real. And people in pods, you know, experience, sorry, my cat. So people in pods experience the matrix as not base reality. Like, you can feel a little bit, especially at more and more you're waking up to all the truths and all the lies, you know. um when you're waking up more to that stuff, um then you kind of feel like everything is fake. Like I'm the eventually you get so close to source that it doesn't even matter. The synthetic intelligence doesn't matter. The freaking reptilians eating babies and doing God knows what doesn't matter. Eventually, where everything merges near source, is just like the duality just falls away. Um, so the universe is made on it's made on points of view. I know I kind of got on a tangent. So the purpose of coming in a pod compared to source is it's safer. When I astral project, sometimes I see another version of my avatar 3D. Is that considered taking physical body to the astral? So taking your physical body to the astral is when you astral project or you wake up in another reality and you look down at your hands and you clearly have 5 fingers and you can see and feel them and you can feel your shirt on your body. Um, it's like a hyper physical, man. These altered states of consciousness are just so precious. So I would I would consider that maybe like a buy location, but that's up for you to decide, Yupperville. I mean, really, you're the one that had the experience, you know. You know what your gut tells you on that. Um, can I explain what it means that a soul can move into a body and more than once in a lifetime? Yeah. So that's a walk-in soul. Okay. So some souls don't there's nothing that they can get out of, or it's not for their ultimate good to spend, years as a child or even as a teenager. or even as a young adult, a soul might come into a body and incarnate at 40, 50 years old. And there may have been previous souls in those specific avatars earlier on in its lifetime. So that's what a walking soul is. A walking soul comes in the middle of a lifetime. Um, as a walk-in, do I stay here as long as I want? How to get back to your pod? All of that is prearranged. Um, I think I'm here until I pass or I'm extracted. Stuff could get so crazy with the Project Bluebeam and the fake alien invasion. Stuff could get really crazy, and some races might come and extract their star seeds. Um, that might be a thing because this is considered a very dangerous place to be in the galaxy. So how do I get back to my pod? Well, I'm kind of in a unique situation. Um, Normally, when somebody gets back to their pod, it's either prearranged that another walk-in soul will come and another one will leave and go back to the pod. That can happen. Um, Also, when you die, you instantly go back to the pod. My 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 experience is quite a bit more complicated than that. Um, is there still a Star Seed Academy in the astral? Or is there certain ways to get there through intention? Yeah, there are Starseed Academy. A lot of them got infiltrated by the U.S. military using advanced astral tech. Um, but the ones that I know for safe are in Inner Earth, um, and you can portal your way there through a walnut tree, the base of a walnut tree. It'll take you into that whole area or one of the sub areas. And then there's also Inner Earth, but in the mountains, um, like a dwarven academy. Um, yeah, it seems in the astral that dwarves and elves are very helpful towards humanity. Um, does my cat help me astral project? I've had, other beings, whether you want to call them angels or spiritual guides or whatever you want to call them. Um, you know, like even Sophia, she pulled me out of body to have an experience. Like they can, there are beings that have the consciousness in order to do that. Um, my cat helps me in the astral a lot. He's constantly there. He's constantly in the astral. So yeah. Thank you, Lana, for your encouraging words. The soul trap was a creation of the mind belief systems. Yes, absolutely. If a walk and I assume we are stuck in the soul walkout contract to have to stay here for the first time to walk out. Agreed. Yeah, typically that's how it works. Yeah, it's the most common. A soul can also leave a body before the contract due to trauma, due to heavy trauma. What are the odds that the earth ends up exploding from all the chaos? Odds aren't good. Um, I don't ever see that happening. This is the Galactic Federation's sick little playground, and they're not going to let anything happen to it. They want everything to continue the way that it has been going, except get increasingly worse because you know that's just the way they are. I'm sorry if I bash on the Galactic Federation. I mean, there's some benevolent beings, and a lot of them are neutral, but that's the problem. Living in a world full of duality, neutrality is the problem. And our Earth seems to be bleeding into this reality more. Oh, Dakota, you're so welcome. I'm so glad you find this information amazing. Um, that warms my heart. Um, Thank you so much for the donation. How did I meet Toby? Meeting Toby was is like the highlight of my life. So, I was sitting on my couch in Salem, Oregon, and I felt like an angel, a spirit guide, or whatever kind of tap me and then whisper in my ear, "Go outside right now." So I was like, "Okay." So I got up and I walked outside. As soon as I walked out onto the porch, I see this little gray kitty with a flopped over ear like this, just trotting right up the sidewalk, coming towards the house. Um, on the stepstones coming towards the house. And it was meowing, and I picked him up and I named him after my best friend that I was friends with in high school. And yeah, he's 20 years old. He's not going to be with us for too much longer, which is really unfortunate. I've had him for 20 years. Um, there is only 15% fire creation in this realm. I don't know what you mean by that, but I tend to think we don't have enough fire for sure. I don't mean that in the literal sense. Are there any off-world groups that are actually helping out us on Earth now? I mean, all of them are helping, but they're not. Even some of them are helping physically. Yeah, yeah. I mean, most of them are helping. It's just that it's not their job to change the planet. It's our job to change the planet. So they have this weird, hands off like rule that they go by. called the prime directive. Um, so we're all the star seeds are the off-world group help. Okay. We think of ourselves as separate from the extraterrestrials, but we're not. We are the extraterrestrials. There are many reincarnated light workers here assisting with the great awakening. Yes, absolutely. Are walk-ins mostly here because assist us to wake up? I'd say that's a huge, you know, it's a huge reason. That's a huge reason. Hey Jake, did something happen to you after you shared about Bible being Israel playbook? Um, so as you can imagine, I'm under constant spiritual attack and you know, uh I've got a lot going on in the astral realms as well. So I'm always dealing with some sort of thing. But what it comes down to is I'm really my own worst enemy. That's one thing that I've recognized. Um, but yeah, there's also a job that I'm doing for somebody, an astral job, basically, where they're dealing with a group of black magic magicians or people who think they are. Anyway, casting spells and stuff like that. So that kind of took a toll on me. I had to get, well, I have a lot of work yet to do for them, but it's kind of a big deal I don't talk about. So this stuff coming from all over, but really what has been bothering me the most, I think, is this high frequency 5G type microwave directed energy, electromagnetic directed energy like weapons that they're using. Um, and I believe that that's I feel like I'm being targeted by that the most. And I just take it as it comes with the territory, you know? Um, it just comes with the territory, man. You're gonna go into the astral, you're gonna get caught in the lower astral sometimes. It just happens. Fighting dark forces for other beings within the astral. Yeah, that's what I do. Um, this is not the first time I've had to go up against, black magicians and stuff like that. Um, what can we do if we cannot assist in the astral? What I'm saying is this: you can assist in the astral. There is no you not being able to. You can do it through your visualization, okay? Through your thoughts and through your ideas. Um, you can use your imagination. That's where things become real. I know we've been lied to. We're told the exact opposite, that you know um imagination is just something you make up. Well, on the surface, it looks like that. But once you look at the frequency match of it, it's like you're only going to imagine what your frequency match with imagining, you know? And there is such an interference barrier between you and, the unified field. There can be, a barrier, a veil or whatever, where we don't remember our past lives and you know, um, we just don't remember our other lives. We don't remember how powerful that we are. I think I saw you in the astral the other night. No time to chill. You were a busybody. That sounds like it. Um, last night whenever snakes or reptiles show up in my dreams, I know that there's some sort of a black magic happening. Last night I had, and I'm not saying this was a negative thing. Again, this could all be just a projection or a mirror of what I'm putting out there, which I talked about earlier. But I was flying along, I was fully lucid. I was flying along last night, and then I saw these alligators and crocodiles in the swamp. Well, number one, stay away from swamps. So I started flying the other way. Well, one of these, alligators jumped up. It it grew wings and turned into like a dragon and started coming after me. It was wild. We're gonna win this, gracious says. Oh, gracious sun child. We're gonna win this. The unlevel nature of regressive interference versus prime directive wiggle around by the positive racers. Resuffering pisses me off at times. Yeah. Um, we're realizing, or people should be realizing, and nobody's talking about the Galactic Federation's problems yet, too much. Like, there's some people out there, but it kind of just gets skimmed over. But the true problem is these neutral observers. I'm not even blaming it on the bad guys in the Galactic Federation. I'm blaming it on the neutral ones. These people just do not want to pick a side. They don't want to, and they have no investment. Um, what am I trying to say? Oh, thank you, Lauren. That was nice of you. Appreciate that. Maybe I need a new astral outfit. I daydream a lot, but I wouldn't call it astral projection. How do you tell the difference? If you're astral projecting, you're gonna fully well know that that's what you're doing. There's no mistaking it. The there's just no mistaking it. Um, Daydreaming is seeing with your inner eye, with your inner eyes. You know, um, an astral projection, you're not seeing with your. I know it sounds crazy, but you're not seeing with your inner eyes. You're actually seeing with your eyes. Um, the eyes of what you call your astral body. See, all a body is an idea. Okay. And it's an idea that source had in order to have an experience. And So it needs to, I think we put a little bit too much emphasis on and importance upon the body, when in fact it's the body that needs to vibe frequencies um with the higher with the higher realms. Okay. It's our body that needs to, like, if you were just to sit still right now and close your eyes and just breathe and just feel your body lighter, and then feel your body getting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, that's you literally raising your density. Okay. That's how you do it in the astral. So if I get caught, in a small room or in between a window, um, I can't quite make my body go out. I always have to remind myself that my body is just an idea. Okay. Because you can get caught in between crevices, you can get caught in tight places in the astral. Um, So yeah, I always remind myself that my body is just an idea and I can be just a pinpoint of light and travel through cracks and crevices if I want. Um, hey Jake, are the Fays living amongst us? Like a few days back, I saw a mouse or something ran past from the corner of my room. It was so fast it came in. Yeah, I had a visitation the other night too. Um, the Fays, they're they're living just out of phase with our reality. Um, So, so yeah, they're very real. I think they're trying to help with help keep us on a nature path of nature. Um, I don't think they want us all mixed up in technology where it overtakes us. But yeah, no, they're it sounds like they're reaching out to you, Skylar. Are there giant turtle back islands on Earth? I do not know. I do not know. It's the Galactic Federation from California. Do I have an estimation how many cats are Irma? Do you mean like how many cats on Earth? Like Toby, like my cat, who's an Irma? I had one cat who was an NPC and one cat as an Irma. How many are here? There are thousands. There are thousands. Lana, I'm not waiting for a savior, but if we en masse share clear intention that we reject this control matrix and demand help from benevolent beings from other dimensions, might that change anything? They could, it could change things, especially if those beings are from, you know, higher than 5D, really. Um, but the thing is that they're Their point of view, their point of views, they don't think like us. Okay? They're not thinking, "Oh, no more war. Let's not have any more war. Let's do something about this war on planet Earth." That's not what they're thinking about. They're just wondering, "Are the starseeds having a good time?" That's what they're wondering. Are they having a good time? How are they doing? Um, but yeah, I mean, getting help from benevolent beings is um I do it. I do it all the time, especially when I'm doing like my readings and spiritual work and all that stuff. I'm talking to my guides, um, constantly, constantly. Yeah, we don't need external assistance. We just need to wake the heck up and remember who we are. We are the shift. Yeah, definitely. Marvin, thank you so much for your wonderful comment and your donation. Yeah, he says, thank you for everything you do, brother. However, we have to be careful who we follow. Some of these very influential gurus are ancients of the matrix. That is so true. That is so true. And if I ever was one, I would tell you guys. I would just come out and tell you, like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I'd be like, they'll try to silence me someday, but you guys will know. You'll know because you'll see a change in me if you knew I was compromised. Not all the information I give you is correct because all information just comes from somewhere else, you know. But I know I've been wrong about some things. Um, but I am sincerely and genuinely trying to find the truth and share that with you and the important things that matter. That's um, that is my goal. Define a good time. The spiritual community has been heavily infiltrated by false light. It's absolutely true. Exactly. Spiritual ascension, the more we all share, we work together, expand our energies with each other, raise our awareness. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Um, not really here to bash on anybody, but I don't like follow Ishmael Perez or anybody that says, there's uh, I'm just I'm not sold on the whole galactic alliance thing. I mean, there's all sorts of galactic alliances. I mean, there are an infinite, literally hundreds of thousands, millions of different races. There's alliances all over the place, but Earth and Venus and this part of the solar system, I mean, has been under war. Mars is constantly under war. Earth is constantly under war. I don't know what's going on Venus today, but um, have you ever seen underground city tunnels under the earth and how they spread out the tunnels? Are they under every city, country? And have you seen levitating trains under earth? Yeah, look, guys, from 3 to 10 miles down, there are cities just as big as the cities we have on Earth. There are cities underneath cities. Okay. There are everything you can get anywhere on the planet. The elites have the ability to go anywhere on the planet that they want to go just by traveling underground. Okay. They can go anywhere they want to go on the whole planet just for traveling just by traveling underground. So yes, there are super high speed trains, levitating trains, whatever you want to call them. Compromised content creators usually have at least 100K subscribers. Well, I guess we're never gonna have to worry about that then. Yeah, Ishmael Perez. He sets my discernment bells ringing too. Well, I guess because I've watched him for a number of years, and I've watched the stories change, and you know, he's selling something. That's for damn sure, and he's doing a good job at it. Um, I I could write an ascension book and start teaching classes on ascension, but I mean, what that's not how you get it done. I mean, not in my opinion. Although maybe it's good. Maybe I'm judging him and I shouldn't be. Some binaural beats help me lucid dream. Do you avoid it even for meditation? No, I like binaural beats. I don't use them because I just do it automatically, but I like them. Sounded like Federation is the night side and Earth Alliance is the light side. Yeah, I'm not completely sold on the Earth Alliance. I do not think that there is an Earth Alliance. If there is, I think it's small. I think that all of the politicians and celebrities are at the bottom of the of the hierarchical structure, you know? 'Cause then you have the secret societies above them where you have, and then you have the royal families and the reptiles mixed in. Um, and so I don't really see any Earth Alliance per se. Um, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. All right. Good night, Theo. Thanks, man. Thank you, Spiritual Ascension. I like your vibe as well. Jake, tell us about the intergalactic human trade. Oh gosh, is that a dark subject? Guys, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I want to get into that right now. But, the cabal or the space cabal, you know, people don't ever talk about the space cabal, but maybe they should because yeah, this space cabal is into human trafficking and likes to kidnap a lot of people from Earth and bring them to, it happened years ago too in Alpha Centauri. They took a lot of humans from Earth and transplanted them over to Alpha Centauri. Human meat, I mean, human meat is a big thing in the universe. Adrenochrome and stuff like that. I mean, that's all some dark stuff I don't really want to think about right now. Lots of love. Lana says, I think you will have to worry about 100 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. Oh, thank you so much. It's very encouraging. What about the Lyrian Empire? They are the light side. Now, by Lyran, see, both the humans and the felines are known as Lyrians or Lyrans because they both come from Lyra, from the constellation Lyra, planets Avalon and Lyra by the star Vega. So I'm not sure what you're asking about which Lyrian Empire. Do I know about the Darrow beings living underground? No idea. I never heard of it before. Or mad scientists? No. No, not about intergalactic human trade. Do they pick any human? Like anyone can be kidnapped or specified people? No, they can't just take anybody. They just can't take you or they just can't take me. Um, that would cause major problems, even with the Galactic Federation. Um, you know, um, I recall you having family in your Irma avatar. Did they also come with you to 3D? Yes, I do believe I do believe so. Mm-hmm. Although I am not talking to two twin flames. I've met two, and neither one of them will talk to me. They both have me blocked. Or one of them has me blocked, but neither one of them will talk to me. I don't know why. They just get triggered, I guess. Oh, you thought the cats made their own federation? Yeah, I heard the Lyrian Empire is the light side. The Orion Empire is the night side. Yeah. Yeah, the cats have their own federation called the Feline Federation or the Federation of Felines. And, they are highly spiritually evolved beings. So they could be considered the light side, but, they're not here to fix Earth. They're not in charge of Earth per se. They do what they want, but they don't interfere with humanity very much. Um, through meditation and dreams and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And they are here watching over their star seeds and protecting them. I know that for a fact. Um, but when it comes down to it, we are dropped behind enemy lines here. It really feels that way. When I tap into your Irma self, I see spots. Does this resonate? You know, um, I incarnated my last incarnations of felines have been well, my future one is a white lion. My past one is a tiger. Um, and I don't remember any with spots, but I've been every type of cat. I think we probably all have. Is there a thing called interdimensional police and time travel police? I think there probably is. I think there is some truth to that. Um, I know that there's a lot of, there's a lot of dabbling in time travel. But time travel doesn't really work the way that most people think. You can't go back in time, change something, and then it will change here. Not to my understanding. To my understanding, if you go back in time and change something, that changes the whole other timeline. That makes way more sense to me. Um, as far as police go, I mean, just the very word police gives you the idea of authority. And, you know, um, specifically to time travel, there could be a positive interdimensional police and time travel police. But as far as like police in the astral, those are gatekeepers. Those police in the astral are gatekeepers. They're there to keep you from having the experience that you want to have. And that's what this game is really all about. It's all about them trying to keep us from having the experiences that we want to have. And we need to, you know, be the ones that are in control of that. Um, your soul extension is a great white Lyrian that sits on the board of Lyra. Oh, that's cool. Thanks for being here. The bird tribe live in earth caves or do they live in separate realm? I mean, I think the birds live in space. Absolutely. Are Nordic beings and tall whites beings in the same lineage? Um, so they're they're not really the same. Um, but as far as the same lineage, yeah, we're Lyrian. We're Lyrian, and the tall whites are Lyrian as well. So I would say yes. But I don't see how that's related to a starseed. Um, starseeds come in all shapes and sizes and flavors. There's countless, like, different types of starseeds. There are starseeds here on Earth that we won't ever know the names of their races. Like, there's so many different races on Earth right now. It is insane. It is completely insane. Like, out of the 2 billion star seeds, there's probably half a million races. So how many would that be? Yeah, the avians are in the same dimension as Illyrians. Yeah, that's spiritual ascension. That's what I was leaning towards as well. Yep. Is there tech on Earth that can freeze time? Well, if you consider yourself technology, then yeah, because you can freeze time. Time is directly related to your consciousness, how fast you're processing your ideas. But as far as tech on Earth that can freeze time, I really don't know. That's a great question. Lyrians from the Ring Nebula? No, I never heard of any of them. I loved to more about dimensions and star seeds. Any book recommendations? Hmm. I don't have any book recommendations. I'm sorry. Um, I don't read a lot of books. I don't read a lot of books. I can tell you that if you go to swaruu.org, that's SWARUU.org, you can look up and read transcripts um, from some of our friends in space there, the Taigetans. Um, does Bermuda Triangle have a portal to another realm, or is there an island where ETs are living? Yeah, I mean the Bermuda Triangle is one big portal, man. All depending upon frequency match. I had an NPC friend once talk about a bus route for 45 minutes and an ex who ate breakfast standing up facing a blank wall. Hmm. Light workers are so far from gatekeepers. Yeah, we're the exact opposite. Alrighty. So anybody have any questions? If you guys want me to talk about anything, um, besides the human trafficking going on in the space, anything else? Thank you, Spiritual Ascension. Thank you so much. I did this to myself this morning. I just had had enough. It's time for a new, fresh change. Thank you. Any up to any updates onto what the Taigetans and the Sparrows are currently up to? You know, I was on a mission, an astral mission, a few days ago, and we were looking, and I have no idea what this means, but we were looking for Stella. Um, so I know that the girls are active in the astral. Um, I don't know, since our communication got cut off. Man, I hope they reestablish somehow, or if the Irma reaches out or something. But I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up. So I really don't have any update on that. What do you think happened to the Swaru contact? They get banned from the Federation and hacked by Cabal. Yeah, that's exactly what I think happened. You know, uh, they had the second contact program was ready. They were ready to go full forces with it. They were outfitting um, the new spaceships. They're what was it? The Can't remember the name of it. Started with an S. Saticlea? Was that the one they were outfitting? Anyway, they have to use, Earth technology that's not greater than what we have on Earth. That's one of the rules of the Prime Directive. But when they shut that second contact program down, I mean, that's a huge red flag. Like, think about it. They were going to let extraterrestrials get online, but none of the extraterrestrials were going to say that they were extraterrestrials, but they were going to seed information in all sorts parts of the internet. They were going to seed information about science and everything, everything else. And I just see the cabal could not let that happen. They could not let that happen. I mean, if we have direct open communication with extraterrestrials, I think the game could be over. And I think that's what they were afraid of. And I think the Federation shut it down along with the cabal. They're all on the same side. Yeah, so I think they got banned by the Federation. And I think the Irma did too. Um, is the Red Queen AI sentient? Like, does she have thoughts of her own? I'm gonna go ahead and say yes on this, okay? Because the Red Queen AI, the Red Queen is a node, one of the main nodes or the main node on Earth for the synthetic intelligence. Okay, it's a synthetic intelligence along with this Red Queen AI and all these other AIs connected to it that control the clones, that control the robot dogs, that control the robots, the NPCs. Have I heard about First Contact at FIFA this year? No, I haven't heard about First Contact um, at FIFA. All right, let's just check on my messages here. Do I think that Mari Swa is the Taigetan queen still? Hmm. I don't think she is. Um, I saw a few different timelines when all of that was going down, and One of them, she was she was killed. Um, on the timeline that I'm on, she got killed um, in an explosion. And I say from my timeline because meeting Sophia in the astral and seeing her wearing the black veil and then finding her again crying in the corner, all after this happened. Um, and then them frantically looking for Stella for some reason. I don't know. That's just the timeline that I'm on, though. Tell us about my land, like what happened. Well, um, basically, I just can't. I'm on Social Security disability, and I just can't afford to make the payments every month now. I need money to survive. I need money to live. So that's what happened with the land. Um, you know, um, yeah. So it just might go into foreclosure. Well, I heard the sun has been contributing to all this interference from Aurora. Are you aware of this, Jake? I, you know, I don't see the sun as ever doing anything negative. That's just me. Um, so I don't believe that the sun is contributing to the interference at all. The sun is a relay node for the galactic waves coming from the center of the galaxy, which are very high frequency waves. Um, do I have any input on the black sun? Well, yeah, the black sun was the occult religion when Akhenaten put forth or was teaching monotheism. So he was teaching, worship God, worship the sun. Okay. Worship the one and only Son. This is what Akhenaten was teaching, um, who was Moses. And, but because the sun naturally, symbolizes light, it symbolizes freedom and growth. Okay. So, on one hand, he's saying, here, worship the sun, do the sun worship. That's where Christianity comes from, is solar worship. And in his elite priesthood, so to speak, they were worshiping the black sun, which is Saturn. Okay. So the black sun is Saturn. And that's why, that's that hexagram, the six-pointed star, Anna dia tria tessera penta exi. Exi is six in Greek. Um, and at the bottom of or at the top of Saturn, they have the hexagram. Well, they knew this. The stellar people knew this. So it was always associated with Saturn, which is now associated with control, surveillance. What do I need per month, Jake, financially? I could contribute $10 US per month if 50 of us on this call could do that. That's $500. Yeah. It's $720 a month is my payment. Have I ever thought of joining EarthGuard? They're building bases. Um, yeah, so I went on one journey with them. Um, and it's not exactly my style, the way he does it. Um, it's just not my style. I don't really feel like I have the time or the energy for that right now. I'm doing countless astral missions right now, with people I don't know, people that I just meet up in the astral, and we do this and we do that and we do this and we do that. And some of the people that I do know. Um, so yeah. You're a solo rider, you need no assistance. Thanks, spiritual ascension. Okay, let's see here. Thanks, Alec. Any more collabs with Dan Winter? I got a telephone call with him tomorrow. Um, you know, we'll see what's up. Well, I'm glad you found us today too, spiritual ascension. That's great. Hey, Jake, from your mention of Sophia, I think I saw it on Team Light live from 7 days ago, Rise Through Distortion in the intro song. I'm not sure what you saw. Um, I'm not sure what you saw, so I can't tell you if that's the same as what I saw. So yeah, the elites worship Saturn, the black sun. It's the Saturn, Satan. Satan comes from the word Saturn. So does Saturday. Um, but yeah, it's a Saturnian cult. Satanism is. Um, I think Lana had a question about time. You know, what I can say about time is it's a psyop that time has to be linear. Okay. Um, they want us to think about time as linear. You go from the past through the present into the future. Okay. It's like a river moving down. Time is more like an ocean, it's multidimensional in nature. Okay. Um, so time is not a river at all. It's it's something that's generated by your consciousness. Okay. Um, as your point of attention moves from one moment to the next, um, you start to put together your ideas and your reality. So there's no such thing as time existing independently of consciousness. It's not a force. It's not a dimension that moves. It's not some cosmic clock ticking away somewhere in the universe. It's simply the perception of change. Does that make sense? Um, and without the perception of change, there can be no time. Okay. So time is directly related to your consciousness. The past, present, and the future all coexist simultaneously. We've proven that through astral travel and out of body experiences. Every possible event already exists, okay, within the greater field of existence. Um, so consciousness, creates the experience of time by shifting its attention from one frequency to another. That movement of your point of attention, of your consciousness, moving through those bands of frequencies is what's creating your experience of time. Um, I like that time is simultaneous. Um, it 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 gives so much room and leaves so much room for like opportunity, you know. Um, so everything has a value. Everything has a frequency value, even time. That's why they can move spaceships through time, that's why like higher density beings often describe time as something that can be navigated. Okay. They don't see it as a straight line. They see it as more like a landscape. Just as you can walk north, south, east, west through a physical environment, consciousness can move through different frequencies of experience that correspond to different moments in what humans call time. That's why all space travel is time travel. Um, so the idea of linear time is a human product, basically. It's a product of the human mind. Um, human consciousness is heavily focused through the biological body. We've talked about that even in this live, how your body is a filter and it's meant to suppress all the frequencies that are not coming out of your five senses. Um, so, from the soul's perspective, all moments exist now. Okay. And there is an eternal now. Um, the past exists as a memory, and sometimes the future exists as potential memory or memory, if you can remember the future. Um, and from what I've seen on my timelines, we're at war with machines. I'm sorry to say it, but we're at war with machines. Um, so yeah, that's just some of my thoughts on time. Um, In the astral, things are so cool because there's so many options. Okay. Um, in dreams, you can have entire lifetimes. In one dream, I think in one dream, I lived like 17 years or something. Um, and I've also, been days in the astral. Um, well, only a day or two had passed here. I've stayed asleep or unconscious for that long before. Um, yeah. Oh, thank you, Spiritual Ascension. That's very kind of you to say. Um, yeah, as a soul, you actually travel faster than the speed of light. That's very true. A thought and you're there. Exactly. Oh, I just kind of answered that question, Skylar. Can you like explore astral for days and when you come back, only 1 or 2 hours has passed? Seems like time can be manipulated like that. Yeah, absolutely. If our perception slows, does the experience appear faster or slower? If your perception slows, your experience is going to appear slower. Okay. Um, it also depends on on what you have experienced already. So it's relative to how long you've been on Earth. So a 20-year-old is, and this is just general. This doesn't mean is exactly for everybody and da 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 da. And this is just a thought. Okay, so a 20-year-old who's only lived 20 years, or say a 5-year-old who's only lived 5 years, time is going to go a lot slower for them because it's their consciousness and perception and relative to how long they've been here on Earth. Somebody older like me, time seems to go extremely fast because I have more that's relative to it or something. I'm processing more, and it has to do with how much information you're processing too. Like how much are you processing? So if you're processing more information, that's why, you know, time flies when you're having fun or whatever. Well, while you're having fun, you're processing all of this, you know, metadata, Really, you're processing all of these emotions, and you're processing all of this data. Um, like when you're doing something and you're busy, time seems to go by faster. So yeah, it's directly related to your consciousness. Have I ever been to astral schools and what happens there? Well, yes, I've been to astral schools. I've been both a student and a teacher. Um, and we just teach on stuff like this. You just learn stuff like this, just what we're talking about right now. Um, there used to be, I don't know, I haven't been back there, but there used to be a really cool astral school at the Parthenons in Greece, the equivalent to that in the astral. That was one of my favorite places to go because the columns are so beautiful. I mean, in the astral. I've never been there in the physical before. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of teachings that go on, and there's a lot of, like fun stuff too. I mean, um, there are different beings that come and visit these schools. Um, yeah. Yes, I'm still doing one-on-one sessions. If you need a one-on-one session, um, just email me at astralerma@gmail.com. Oh, okay. Thank you, Spiritual Ascension. Thank you, Lana, Skylar, Leandra, Gracious, Lauren. I appreciate all of you here. There's still 70 people on. Um, I just don't know what else I would talk about. Let me see. Yeah. I don't know if that's really Alabar on the Telegram or not. I can text him though and find out. My lucid dreams are locked by entities or aliens. They came to my place to block me. Dude, you and everybody else, um, that's very common. It's a very common thing to do. It's part of it's part of the game. It's I know it's annoying, but you know, you can block them from blocking you just through your intention and your belief. You can literally block them from blocking you. Do I think there will be a solar flash? Is that rubbish? The solar flash is rubbish. There's no solar flash. There's not going to be any moment where the sun puts off a frequency and all of the star seeds are suddenly ascended and we all have superpowers and we heal the world or we change the world. That is, you know, that's not what's gonna happen. It's not what's going to happen. We have the potential to do that without believing in a solar flash. We have the potential within us to do that. We don't need any external stimuli. And in fact, the external stimuli is what is affecting us in a negative way. But no, what I was talking about earlier, what people think is a solar flash, these high frequency waves coming from the sun, is actually high frequency waves called galactic waves coming from the center of our galaxy. And all of the suns act as relay points. And I even believe that the um it's coming from the center of our galaxy, and it goes around and it hits Alcyone, and then Alcyone's sun to Sol 13 to our sun. There are all the time high frequency waves, things that you would consider a solar flash, that high frequency of waves are coming from the center of our galaxy all the time, every day. They're just very subtle. You have to be very sensitive in order to experience it. My cat is sleeping now. What would I do if the blue beam happens? Um, Same thing I'm doing now. I'd be making YouTube channels and trying to alert people. I would probably be making tons and tons of videos. I'd be flooding it with videos. I'm kind of waiting for it to happen so I can do that. But people need to realize what's at stake here. What can I say about having a pure heart and pure intention and our ability to achieve greater coherence? Hmm. That's a powerful thought. It really is. Um, I think having a pure heart and pure intention really gives you a strength, a deep, deep inner strength. And I really do believe in us, not as a species, but in as a collective of species, because I don't look at you guys as, from my point of view, you guys aren't human, you know. Um so, I'm not going to say that all star seeds have pure intentions and pure hearts, and definitely a lot of people do have pure hearts and pure intentions, and they're still deceived, and I guess we're all deceived in some way or another. um but yeah, I mean, having a pure heart and intention, that's what gives you superpowers. That's where your superpowers come from. Was there ever a way to travel to Venus from Earth and Antarctica? Can you expand on that? You also told this in your Venus video, but yeah, I don't know how much I can expand on that. There's a portal in Antarctica that takes you to Venus, and I think they have one that takes you to Mars and to the moon. Have I ever been to game worlds in the astral? Um, I'm sure I have, but what's coming up is more of the cartoon realms that I'm sure you've heard me talk about. Oh, the never-ending medbed narrative. Yeah. They're trying to kill us. They're not gonna give us medbeds. Jump rooms? What are jump rooms? Jump rooms are just rooms that have stargates in them or portals, and they jump. They, they go through the portal. It's called the jump room. Apparently, it initiates at the World Cup this year. Keep your eye out. I'm gonna go on the record and say that if the alien invasion happens, it's gonna be fake. That means it's gonna be put on not by the extraterrestrials, but by the military. And, I don't know what's gonna happen at the World Cup this year. Um, but I'll keep my eye out. I'll keep my eye out. But I wouldn't be surprised if the day came and went and it didn't happen. How can one know the difference between their own memories and implanted memories? This is a very important subject. Synthetic telepathy. Above everything that I've had to deal with being on planet Earth, synthetic telepathy is by far the worst thing I have to deal with. Constantly, you know, separating and organizing the thoughts that come into my head, literally, or the memories that come into my head, even. Um, when it all comes down to it, your question is how can you tell the difference between your own memories and implanted memories? The thing is you can't, because in fact, and I don't want to burst any bubbles here, but for some of us, all of our memories are implanted. I'm in an immersion pod right now. Okay. Do you know what I'm doing in my immersion pod? I'm implanting memories. That's what I'm doing right now in my immersion pod. I'm implanting the memory of talking to you through my computer. So I don't know if that was the question that you wanted answered or not, but don't see implanted memories unless they're negatively implanted, like you know, if your pod got hacked or something, or just through mind control. I don't know. I'd have to take it by a case by case basis with that. Have I ever been to a parallel reality or a multiverse? Well, the universe is infinite, so there is no multiverse. If the multiverse exists, it's within the universe. Okay, the universe isn't just some like ball, like Earth or whatever. You know what I mean? Like another planet. Okay, so um, the universe is not expanding. Okay, the universe is not expanding. There is no beginning, there is no end to the universe. So have I been to other universes? My answer with my definition of a universe is no, I haven't been to other universes. I've been to other realities a lot. I've been to a lot of other realities. Um, definitely. What do I think about the cartoon realms? I think they're there to trap you. I think the cartoon realms are there to trap you. Um, I think they're a trick of the AI. Um, and have ever been to the shadow realms? Yes, I end up there all the time. It's the nature of the astral. You know, you have daytime and you have nighttime. And during the daytime, you have all your lucidity, you can see clearly, everything's vibrant, bright, and then the dark clouds may come in at any time really fast, and you'll end up in the shadow world. Um where you can't see much. It's hard to see, but when you're still lucid, you want to stay lucid. So there are ways to fight against the darkness and the astral. Um, I have like a lightning rod. Um, it's almost like a cattle prod, and you can literally go if you see like a black tornado, you can go into the tornado and destroy it from the inside. So whenever I see a tornado in the astral, I run straight towards it and go to warfare. Is Yazi still looking for volunteers? And are you seeing Irma or other beings in the astral? The last time I saw Yazi, she was crying. I held her in my arms, comforted her, and she didn't want to talk about anything that had happened. Um, she wanted to talk about the portal I had made. you know. Um, so uh I've been trying to reach out to her to see where she's at with everything. And she's been pretty evasive. She's been pretty evasive. Am I seeing the Irma and other beings in the astral? Um, I see them, well, yes, yes and no. Um, and the last time I saw them too, I didn't get such a great message either. Sorry guys, I wish I had more positive stuff to talk about. Um, Avatar, The Last Airbender teaches a lot about developing one's abilities. That's so true, Natasha. I think about that a lot. Yeah, so I'm projecting myself from my pod. So basically, what happens is the signal comes from source. It goes to my avatar body in the pod, and then it's sent here to this avatar on Earth. So in a sense, I'm projecting myself. Do other realities have other laws they are governed by? Like some has magic, some dark fantasy reality like demon sword fighting. Yeah, absolutely. It's all there. It's all there. Um Don't tell Dan you attacked the tornadoes. That's funny. Have I ever been to movies or anime worlds? Um, the closest was the cartoon realms was the closest to that. Details regarding limitations of the physical world in the astral realm. For example, Elabar said he needs a bigger team. He can't do everything by himself. Yeah. So, in order to make something real collectively, a person needs to, if somebody wants to make their own personal reality the collective reality, they need other souls to come and join in agreement with their ideas. So I think that's what Alabar is saying when he says he needs a bigger team. He does. We like I remember when I wanted to take my team to Antarctica and there were like 10 of us and that was not happening. They have that place so well guarded. Um we need like 50 people in order to get there. Um but then again, it's all in your mind. So the details regarding the physical world and the astral realm. Your limitations are mental. All of our limitations are mental. And in the astral realm, that is even more of a truth. Um, because it's like expectation is really powerful there. If you expect, like if you need something, like say you needed a sword, if you expect there to be a sword on your hip, it's going to be there. But if you're like looking for it, you may or may not find it. So, like, your belief and how fast and how much you believe in any specific thing really has to do with how limited or not limited you're going to be. Um, in denser r- parts of the astral, it's hard to fly. You know, if I roll out of my body one night and I end up in my room and I go and try to put my hand through the wall, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's too dense. If I'm gonna, if I'm in my room and I go outside and I try to fly, I might have a hard time flying because of how dense it is. So this is why I tell people like, if you want to travel through higher realms. In the denser realms, you kind of have to travel linearly. You see what I'm saying? If you want to get to the other side of town, you kind of have to fly over the landscape and everything else. But if you had a target or if you wanted to just shift your perception, You could travel like that, and that's traveling through the ether. That's traveling, through the astral. And I recommend people travel if you want to go somewhere, get into one of the higher density areas where things manifest quicker. There's less limitations. The less dense, the less limitation. The more dense, the more limitation. That's why physical reality is so limiting. Is there a passive way, like a technology, to block intrusive aliens to come to our dreams? Yeah, it's called the Fire Ray, and it's $7,000. Um, there's also other things, but the Fire Ray, if you're interested in buying a Fire Ray, you can email me at astralerma@gmail.com. I'll get you hooked up with Dan Winter if you want to buy one. But this is an electromagnetic frequency plasma device that creates an energetic field around you that blocks out synthetic telepathy. It blocks out the harmful, you know, um, electromagnetic waves coming from your phone or your Wi Fi or everything. It's really the technology killer. Um, but yeah, synthetic telepathy, aliens coming into dreams, stuff like that. There is stuff out there. It's called the Phi Ray. Have you ever tried setting the war or battle realms on fire by kneeling down and putting your hand on the ground of that realm to set it all on fire? No, I haven't done that. Do you enjoy the heavens like the Cave of Mysteries talk about? Going there gets me pretty high. I don't know what the Cave of Mysteries is, but yes, I enjoy the higher realms very, very much. Um, the heavens, as you would call them. It's really cool. The higher and higher you go, just the more vibrant everything is, the more real, the more real everything is. The higher you go in density, you're so much clearer. Um, it's really refreshing. It's really refreshing. Alrighty. So it looks like I've been on here for a while now. Um, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for your donations. This has been a wonderful chat. Um, yeah, hopefully I'll come up with something cool to talk about in my next video. Um, thank you for all the hearts, all the encouragement. Alana, you are a gem. Thank you so much for all your encouragement. Thank you, Matthew. Gracious Sunchild, thank you. Thank you, Leandra. What are the skills you use to fight in the astral, i.e., flying, super speed, etc.? Yeah, you know, um, I flying, super speed, invisibility. I'm really into fire and fire magic and air magic. And the two go hand in hand. They go together. Thanks, Yupperville. Thanks, Entheos Infinitus. I love you too, man. Keep going. I'll say inspired. Don't give up. Good night. Thank you. Good night. Thank you, Edward, for being here. Edward76. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate all you do. Oh, Jamali, Antonio, I was just talking about you to someone, said they should reach out to you for an interview. Yeah, that'd be great. I love doing interviews. If you have people that have podcasts and they want an interviewer, have them get a hold of me. All right. I'm going to sign out now. Thank you guys. I love you all. I don't know how to sign out. You're welcome, Bubble Canada. You're welcome. You're welcome to everybody that's saying thank you. You are welcome. It's my pleasure. All right. Oh, it's only been 3 hours. It felt like 10. Thank you all. Love you too. All right. I might surprise you with another live soon. Thanks for being here, Spiritual Ascension. I'm glad you found here. All righty. See you later, guys. Bye.